welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. Once again, we are here today, and today, just like any other time, we have another amazing guest for y'all today. We have a true honor talking to our guest today. His name is Robert Cardillo, and he is AKA B-Cide. He used to be a rapper, but now he is a MS warrior. We're going to learn everything about his amazing life. It's an amazing story. I heard a podcast not too long ago just to do my homework, and man, does he have an amazing story. We're going to learn everything about what he's doing now, get into his book, and we're going to learn about his music as well, because I can't wait as a music guy myself to learn about what he's been cooking up in the past and what he's still doing creatively right now in the present. So first and foremost, I want to say to you, Robert, appreciate you being on the show today, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. That was a fantastic introduction. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I want to say, first of all, your story in years ago in 2011, when you were diagnosed with MS, I want to say, man, for you to have much energy as you have right now, I can't wait to talk about this story, man, because it's awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Like you on the show. So let's just start from before the diagnosis in 2011. Talk a little bit about just your creative life, being an artist and being in the music scene. Tell us a little bit about that background.
All right, cool. Well, I mean, I first got into like hip hop and stuff back in high school, and it was with this old group that I was with. The name of the group was actually called Aspic, like a meat jelly. It was kind of a goof group. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the meat jelly, the green meat jelly.
Yeah, you gotta show that inside, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, so it's like the green jelly, and it's called the Aspic, and you put it on meat. But it was kind of like a joke band. We were like big Howard Stern fans and stuff like that. And so one of the dudes, Elliot, was really into old school hip hop. I was more into like different stuff. Like I liked Green Day. They were like my biggest influence, if you could believe it. I was a Master P fan, Insane Clown Posse fan, Tech Nine fan, and I mean, we were going through it, and then things kind of broke up after high school, you know, and then I ended up doing my own thing, and I really took it seriously in like 2003, I would say, and that's when I came out with like my first solo album and stuff. So it's more like the stuff I do is like Insane Clown Posse stuff. It's Juggalo stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with Juggalos, but it's different kinds of music. It's underground music. It's not mainstream at all. We talk about everything from love to murder. So it's a very broad scale of what we talk about.
When you think about being in the game, if you want to call that, for over 25 years, that's a great length of time.
Yeah.
What you learn being the music business when it comes to not just creativity and finding your sound, but also navigating that cutthroat environment.
Yeah, that is tough because especially now, there are so many snakes out there. It is ridiculous. Like every time you get an ad on Facebook, if you're a musician, or Instagram about boosting your songs on Spotify, or do this or do that. And most of the stuff about boosting your plays on Spotify is not good. It's all against Spotify's terms of service. And Spotify will come after you and take your music down for it. And actually, they will arbitrarily take your music down. They don't even need to get it flagged because they actually took down one of my more recent albums that I just came out with that said that my streams were inflated. And I get like 1,000 to 1,500 listeners a month. I'm not going to fake that. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what are you guys talking about? But they're like, oh, you can re-upload it. So I'm like, what? You know, that is just, it's just not fair for artists. And if you have a record deal, it's different, but you don't make money. You might be able to get notoriety or fame, but you're not going to get to keep money the way that you would as if you were doing it independently.
Man, that's great insight because, I mean, we've seen celebrities, I'm not going to drop names, but we've seen posts on different social media platforms where celebrities are themselves talking about, man, these royalties payouts, man, like millions of streams or billions of streams, and you barely got a slice that's like at least talking about. So that's, that is something that we see a lot in the creative space.
Yes.
About all this massive talent, all these mind-blowing like music, creativity. But it's like y'all get pennies, you know?
Yes.
What's some of the things that you see maybe artists in ways support each other to kind of, you know, lighten the blow? Because it's one thing when you have the cutthroat industry that don't pay right, but it's another thing when you have people against each other.
Yeah, well, the community where I come from, we've never been like tight knit, which is not good. So where I came from, everybody was kind of like cutthroat and just out for themselves, no community whatsoever. So, and I guess it's tough sometimes in hip hop because there's not a lot of community, I guess. It's always kind of like really more of a me against you thing, if that makes any sense. Where like, I guess like a rock band or whatever, they'd go on tours together and, you know, fill up arenas and stuff like that. But I mean, as hip hop artists, it's a little different. But on the underground, in the Juggalo underground, we call it the wicked underground. You know, there's a lot more camaraderie in there than there is like in the broader music scene. Like people will come together and do shows together, do songs together. And, you know, you're trying to offset some money and stuff like that by, you know, featuring other people on things. So maybe you bring in some of their fans and vice versa, and you guys can both get paid maybe a little extra money. But, you know, you never know what can happen. It really is bad. I mean, you really do get paid 0.003 cents. It's very bad.
When you think about the turning point in 2011, everything changed.
Yep.
Kind of take us through the moment you were diagnosed with MS, what was going through your mind, and as an artist, what were you thinking about what could be like for your future?
Sure. I actually got diagnosed with a pulmonary embolism as well in 2011. So it was kind of like a double whammy. I actually had the pulmonary embolism that almost killed me. I made a song about it called Happy to Be Alive. And I have, and I was just like getting better. And as I was getting better, I was noticing that my foot was dropping, or I couldn't like keep my balance well. Things were going numb, things of that nature. So we ended up going to a concert and my legs were numb and everything. My arms were numb, and I'm just brushing it off because I think I have a pinched nerve or something. This left arm has been numb since probably 2005 or 2006. And I just thought I had a pinched nerve the whole time. And then things just started going wonky, you know. And the only time I saw a doctor, my midsection went numb. And I'm like, yeah, it's time to see a doctor. I'm like, I don't know what in the world is going on. So I see this doctor. They're like, here, you know, take this shot. You'll be good. And I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, that's great. He never really explained what MS was or anything like that. Just, you know, take this shot. You have MS. You know, this will make you better. So I take this shot. I'm not getting any better. I'm getting worse, actually. And then my father is friends with this guy, Charlie Constantino, who has a wing of this hospital in Rochester, New York, named after him. and they have a big MS center in that hospital. It's the University of Rochester. It's Strong Memorial. And I got hooked up with the doctors there, and it was absolutely phenomenal. So those are my doctors from now on. But when I got this diagnosis, I wasn't thinking anything as an artist. I wasn't thinking that it was going to stop anything that I was doing. But as I noticed myself failing, I'm like, oh, man, what is going on? I remember at my ex's house, I used to kind of just like do this hop up on the steps or whatever, and I just used to think to myself, like, you know, I hope I can do this all the time, you know, and it's just something you come to the realization of, and you're like, wow, I can't even do something as simple as just like hopping up a step or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you see that reality, but you, like I said in the beginning of the show, before we started, you have so much energy, man.
Yeah.
And I love that, man, because for someone to be in a position like you have everything in the world to be, you know, bitter about, upset about, you know, but you just have this very, I say, cool energy that most people will wish they had. And my next question for you is, where did that come from? Because you could have had just your moment to be like, you know, I'm retired from everything. I'm going to just lay low. But you're on podcast shows, you're telling your story, you're writing books. Explain, where does that energy come from, man?
I can't stop. It's something that's just in my blood that won't let me stop. It's just this passion for something that I have that just won't let me stop. And I just will myself and tell myself that you need to keep going and you need to do this. And there is definitely more to come. And you can use what you've learned from rap and music and everything like that, and kind of repackage everything and turn it into something. And I didn't know what it was at the time, but I knew that it could be repackaged and maybe like some type of voice for people with multiple sclerosis or disability or something along those lines. And it's just, I just always try and keep a positive attitude. My mom always tells me, you have to keep a positive attitude. She has this Pollyanna complex. I don't know if you're familiar with the old movie Pollyanna. Well, she always looked on the bright side of life. And that's how my mom is. She's always a glass half full type person. So she's like, Bobby, you need to start looking at things differently. And I started to look at my life a lot differently. And you just need to laugh and just try not to cry. I mean, just the other day, I was sick with a stomach bug and it put me out for 2 days. And that's just something stupid. But it made my MS flare up and everything. And I still went on podcasts. I still kept like my schedule and stuff because, you know, I'm still going to push through it and try and make the best of it. It's better to be talking to somebody and talking about my pain and the resilience and everything else than not. You know, I don't have pain when I'm actually doing what I'm doing. I'm not in pain right now talking to you. It's very strange.
When you think about, you said the word resilience, when you think about resilience and also mental health, for you to have to change your lifestyle, you have to adapt to this new reality. Kind of walk us through in the beginning, what were some of the adjustments that you had to do to realize, okay, things are going to be changing how I live. So what did that look like for Robert?
Right. When I first got diagnosed, I really stopped. I really started slowing down on like music because I wanted to kind of take time for myself. And then I had to start using a cane. And I'm like, all right, it's kind of getting real. Like now I need to use a cane to walk. And then as I'm going through that, it starts getting worse, you know. And then I start having to use a walker. And I'm like, all right, well, this is something new. So I'm using one of those walkers that you put like the little tennis balls on or whatever. And then they end up upgrading me to one of those walkers that has the 4 wheels on it with like a seat on it. And you roll it and you just like push it like that. And then I ended up having to go into a wheelchair. And I've probably been in the chair about 5 years. In the electric chair, about 2 years, maybe 2.5. But it's been a whole process with this electric chair. Like they're not comfortable in the least bit. It's been a whole ordeal. They're made for people that can't feel their legs or their body. And it's not made for like quote unquote normal people that can feel things. You know, just because I have MS doesn't mean that I can't feel my butt or my back and stuff like that, you know. So, I mean, there's some people with MS that can't, but I'm not one of them. So, fortunately, I'm not one of them.
You know what I love about everything you represent is someone, you said earlier, when your mom.
Yeah.
You find the bright light, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool, man, because we live in a world where people who have it, you know, for whatever, we can get upset over the most petty things, man. It could be a squirrel look at us the wrong way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It could be someone
Right.
cuts off on traffic, and then
Right.
those things ruin our day or our week. But for you to just have this, yeah, it's hard to explain. You just have this aura, like I can hang with you and be like, yo, life is dope, man. Life is cool right now. And that's hard to find, you know, because we live in a society where people are uptight, and in some cases rightfully so, because they want to protect their space and energy. But
Right.
you just come across as someone who just, you enjoying life, man. And kind of explain, how were you able to look at the smaller details of life and really appreciate that? Because you do come across as someone at this point of life, you really showcase that you are grateful for what you have. So kind of explain, how does that look like for Robert today?
Sure. Well, actually, I used to get mad at the littlest things. I used to be so pissed about everything, and the littlest things would tick me off, and it was just so bad. And then as this whole thing progressed, I just think there's definitely more to be mad about than, you know, there's no reason to be mad about things, because there's so much more to be mad about now than there was back then. If I really want to tell myself that, and I could really be a grouch, you know, but I'm just trying to look at it where it's like, dude, I just got to sit here and, you know, just have like a cool conversation and just do what I got to do and just chill through life and, you know, just deal with it, you know.
You learned a lot, though, in this process with your healthcare. And I know there's definitely had been some kind of challenges and curveballs thrown at you throughout the whole process. I know we mentioned about resilience and mental health. That's what I was trying to look for. When you think about the mental health that you had to keep intact going through this whole process of your healthcare, I can only imagine that was changing rapidly. And my next question is, how were you able to adjust yourself with your doctors and the team care you had around you versus You know, I can understand there probably be some sharks in the water too. People trying to take advantage of, you know, the situation.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I'm very glad that I'm not an elderly person, because if I were elderly, I'd get taken advantage of so much. I don't let grass grow under my feet with these people at all. These people are all out for themselves. The insurance business and the healthcare business is not about the patient. It's about a number on an invoice. That's all that it's about. And I never really needed mental health pills until this doctor that gave me the shots for the MS put me on them, because I always would write and make songs and take care of everything that way. But he gave me this pill and it ended up making me feel good. And now that I've been on it for so long, it's hard to get off it because I've been on it for over 10 years. So, I mean, I use my music and everything to get everything out. That is really what helps me with mental health, because I don't sugarcoat anything. You know, I will talk about everything when it comes down to music. And even when it comes down to writing this book that I wrote, I talked about everything. I took the gloves right off. Like if I poop my pants or something, I'll tell you about it. I don't care, you know, because it's part of life. Unfortunately, that is part of life. Some people that are disabled can't control themselves at certain points. You know, that is what happens. And unfortunately, I have to use a sit to stand machine to even get on the commode. So try and hold yourself going to the bathroom while you're trying to get on this machine, and then move over to this other contraption that you have to sit on to go to the bathroom. So it's like, you know, it's better to look at it positively.
Appreciate you saying this, because if anyone if anyone thinks that they're having a hard time, just stop. You know, because a lot of times we take the most amazing things of life for granted until it's no longer available. And a lot of times I say on the show, the most valuable thing we have is time. You know, you can't buy extra time, because once time is up, there's no negotiation. There's no, hey, give me 5 more minutes, man. No, once it's done, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
You look at everything you're doing, not just being a light for those who need that inspiration, but you're living through this whole process. So you're now an advocate for those. You're going to help a lot of people out there who need, you know, encouragement and maybe a different perspective of looking at their healthcare and how they approach this. You also have a book. So with all this things that you're doing for the community out there, what do you hope your legacy will be when it's all said and done? Because as I said, time is limited, but the moment now is all you have.
Right. Well, I hope that people would see my legacy of making music and making books and turning what I've done into like an actual business and actually being able to make a profit from it. Or even if I haven't made a complete profit off it, and maybe I'm just a starving artist, and maybe that's my legacy, and people end up finding out about me when I'm dead. But I hope that they find out about me when I'm living. That's the one thing that I do hope.
Oh, they're gonna know, because we boosting this episode.
Yeah.
Before we definitely gonna be boosting this episode, so people.
That's great.
They're gonna know Robert, man.
That's great.
Yeah, I love you. Like I said, I love your energy. Your energy is just like, it's so real. You know what I mean?
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. Yours too, man.
Because I'll put it this way: when it's hard to put in words, that's when you know it's dope. That's when you know it's legit.
Right.
Like you get your favorite meal, you know, and perfect size. You got your favorite drink. Like, that's heaven, man. That's what
right.
Now, it's just a good energy, a good vibe. And I think what you're going to do is you're going to make people smile. I don't smile a whole lot. I'll smile a whole lot through the whole interview. And, you know, I think it just is telling. One, that a lot of times we take life way too serious. And this is just a perfect reminder that the cards you dealt, you do the best you can with what you have. Because a lot of times we want to just fold and say we have A to Z reasons why we want to fold. But people like yourself are a reminder what can happen when you just keep pushing forward. Because if you go forward, you're in a better spot than if you stay in the same spot for 4 years. My last question for you is, for someone who has been through a lot, I mean, you had what you had going on before this. And then it's like a whole shift came into
Right.
that you did not predict. It just kind of happened.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to someone who kind of feels similar in their own situation? That they had this thing in mind and all of a sudden life just happened, changed everything. What would you say to them based on what you learned and your experience? That you encourage them to say, you know what? Not only is it not over, but you still have a chance to do something beautiful.
Surround yourself with good people, really good people, like close friends and family, and make sure that you can tell yourself that you can get through it, because you can get through it. I mean, I didn't always get through stuff. I questioned God. I questioned everything. And I got through it. I'm through it. I'm on the other side. I can live to tell about it. People have done the most amazing things with their mind too, telling themselves that they can do things. And that would be incredible to see. That is incredible to see people that have done that with their mind and wished cancer away or make themselves walk or something like that. The mind's powerful. You never know what you can do. So you just have to keep pushing.
Now, before we sign off, tell people the title of your book, and not just the title, but where they can find it. And if you have any updates in the future that you want them to know about.
Sure. My book title is called Myelin My Shoes, but it's spelled like myelin, like around your nerves, Myelin, My Shoes. And what it is the MS is what attacks the myelin around your nerves. Your nerves are kind of like an electrical cord, and the MS strips away the outside of the cord, exposing the wires pretty much. So, and the myelin is what it's eating away at. So that's the title of the book, Myelin My Shoes. You can buy it on Amazon, and you can just search for Myelin My Shoes. It's available in paperback, Kindle, and Audible, read by me. I also have a full soundtrack that I produce to it that's on all streaming platforms. And I'm coming out with a special limited edition 25 copy vinyl release on National Vinyl Record Day on August 12th. And that's all on my website on b-cide.com. And you can also go to the book website, myelinmyshoes.com, MYELIN, myshoes.com.
Well, like I said, we're going to boost this thing, and we're going to make sure that people know about Robert. And I'm going to put you on the main channel. All right. Just give it a little time.
Well, thank you.
I'm going to do it. Today's July 3rd when we're recording this. I'm going to do it Monday. All right. And you
all right.
And y'all watch this. Y'all hold me to it too. You better shoot me.
All right.
Hey, I don't see that video. So first and foremost, I want to say thanks for not just being on the show. I always think lightning doesn't strike twice in the same spot. I think it struck about 3 or 4 or 5 times in this conversation, because I feel like this is a once in a lifetime type of conversation that you get to experience in this unique way. So I want to say thank you for your energy, man. It's contagious. and it's awesome, man. So I hope you not just keep doing what you're doing, but know that you definitely are making an impact, man. So a lot of times people get overlooked. I hope you get a bright shine spotlight today, and hopefully people do their part and support your book, support your music. And real quick, man, if they want to check out your old music, is that catalog available as well?
Yes, it is. Everything's on Spotify, Apple Music, all streaming. Just go to my website, B-Cide, and everything's there.
Y'all go check it out.
Yeah.
I'm going to check it out too, man. If you're on social media, I'm sure they can find that on your website as well. But last and not least, I want to say to you, Robert, thank you for your time, man.
You're very welcome. Thank you.